we're talking teenager, middle school, high school, college. That's what I parent. And
Yes.
then, but younger kids, let's start with the younger kids first. So if you've got somebody in elementary school, what advice do you have for the parents? Think back to when you were in short pants in elementary school. What should parents be doing then?
Well, I was a pretty chill elementary school student. Parents, at that point, you need to be kind of hands-on so they can build up skills that they could use later in life. But, right, like, when they start getting to middle school and stuff, everyone needs to chill and, like, step back a second. Even if they're in 6th grade, parents could chill a little bit.
That, for those of you guys listening, that was a directed at me. The rest of you guys can ignore that. So let's talk about this. Because, all right, so we had Skeff just comment that said caring about everything, that's called parenting. Yes, Skeff, thank you. That is called parenting.
Not great parenting. It's just
well,
parenting.
all right. So, but let's talk about this, because I think, when we discussed this on the show, and you and I've had this conversation off air, I think as parents, we worry about everybody, like all the things. We worry about people getting kidnapped. We worry about, I don't know, if it's a thing to worry about, we worry about it. But that's our job as parents. And I know you're not a parent.
No.
And I don't know that it's a goal of yours. However, she decided the other day she might be a really good aunt. But
I'd be a great aunt.
She'll be the fun aunt for sure. So as you're thinking through, and like, let's stay on elementary school for a while. So what do we need to teach kids in elementary school? What is it you feel like that you learned in elementary school, whether it's through us or through school, that like, you're like, okay, this is stuff kids that age need to know?
I don't know, basic common knowledge, like getting dressed and making food and things like that you could do on your own once you get older.
Okay.
Nothing too, like, scientific. You don't need anything too intense.
Well, and that's where I think things are getting a little wackadoodle in the world today. It's like a lot of elementary kids are like overscheduled. They're doing sports and language lessons and music lessons and all that stuff. So how do we allow kids, and transitioning from elementary to kind of middle and high school, how do we allow kids to figure out what it is they like? Because I do feel like a lot of times we push kids into something that we want them to do, not necessarily that they want to do.
Yeah. In elementary school, I think all the sports and stuff, like, a lot is way too much for an elementary school kid. But once you get to middle school and stuff, they can start trying out things. Like, a bunch of middle schools, their high school counterpart has a bunch of junior, like
cheer and
things.
Football and stuff like that.
Yes, they can just try out whatever they want instead of forcing it upon them in early middle school and elementary school and stuff.
How do you think kids figure out what it is they like? Like, what would you, because you've got a few hobbies, and I think they're your hobbies for sure. Like, they're not anything your sisters do or anything like that. How did you know this is my thing?
What's the word for when you're like trying something and it doesn't work, but then you try something and it works?
Failure?
Failure?
No, not failure. Like, it happens. Like, something in error. Trying an error.
Oh,
something in error. That.
Okay. Trial and error.
Trial and error.
Yes.
That's what it is. That.
Okay.
Because you try different things, and then whatever works for you, and if you enjoy it, you enjoy it.
And then you stick with that and you dump the rest.
You don't have to dump the rest. They can just be other hobbies, but
okay,
you can focus some more on that.
So what would you say to, and this is interesting as a parent, because I think a lot of time kids do stuff because their friends are doing it. We'll get into peer pressure in a minute, but what do you say to the kids that like their hobby is just different, that they're different from the other kids? Because that's where I think parents try to steer kids back to the norm a lot. I know I've done that for sure.
Keep doing what you're doing, because once you grow up, all those people are going to be having a harder time because they don't really know what they like to do. And then you'll already have that figured out, so you'll do better in the long run. So just stick it out.
Okay. So what do you like doing? I mean, I think those that have heard you on the show probably know, and how did you come to your hobbies?
Okay. So I like to sail, which I've been doing since I was like 3.
Okay.
So I grew up doing that, and it's fun and chill, and is a good way to decompress. I like space, which I've been doing since I've been learning about since I was very, very little. I like to read books and watch movies and things that lead me there, which also falls into the film and television world because I like to make stupid home videos and read books a lot that has to do with that. And then karate, I just started doing that young and I liked it. And so I kept pursuing it even though it kind of sucked having to practice all that.
All right, so let me ask you a question on the karate, because you, for those of you guys listening, Mia competes in karate. We've got world championships coming up in July. She's third degree black belt. Does pretty tough girl. And she's done well. You've done really well. She's like ranked top 10 in the world in a lot of her stuff. So she's done really well. However, and I don't know if you remember this, when you started karate, the first few classes you didn't like it.
No, I didn't. You forced me to do it.
I did force her to do it. So that's what's interesting, because I bought a package of 5 classes. You know, it was what we saw a thing at school.
5 classes in a uniform.
5 classes in a uniform, and it was only $25. So it was not the money to me, because it was $25 for all that. But you saw people do it at school. What happened is they had a booth set up at one of the fairs at her elementary school. And she saw a friend, wasn't a friend at the time. You saw him break a board.
No, I saw that they were giving out lollipops for whoever broke the board.
Oh.
So I was like, I want a lollipop. Let's go break a board.
You thought breaking the board was cool.
No, I was beyond the board. I was like, fine, I guess I'll break a board to go get the lollipop, because it's one of those nice ones, like a good lollipop. And I was like, I guess I really
the good
need
like
a
blow
lollipop.
pop kind of lollipop.
Yeah. Okay. And I was like, I guess I need a lollipop, so I guess I'll go break a board.
So that, parents, is how you find a hobby that will last a lifetime, is through lollipops.
Exactly.
But all right, so what happened is I bought the package. They lured us in with a lollipop. She saw the board. I'm like, that's kind of cool. The kid jumped over another kid and broke a board. It was fun. Who you're now good friends with him too. But
who are you talking about?
Tristan. It was Tristan that was doing
I don't remember any of that.
Oh, how do you not? You just remember
I was
the lollipop.
focused on the lollipop. Tristan might have flown through the entire air and kicked a board.
Tristan jumped over his sister and flew into, did a flying sidekick into the board and broke it. That's what I remember. She remembers the lollipop. So how we get to the hobbies apparently is irrelevant. But what was interesting is I bought the 5 classes. We signed you up. We went to class. You hated it the first 2 classes. Hated it. Didn't want to go back. And I said, you have to at least do 5. Because that's what the package we bought. And by the 5th one, she's like, this is so awesome. I want to keep going. So what's the over-under? How do parents know when you've tried it enough to stick with it, and you've tried it enough to say, yeah, this isn't my thing?
Well, give it a little time. Like, I gave up on it the first class, and then you gave it a little bit of time for me to see if I liked it again. But so it's not like a prolonged experience. It's like whatever amount of allotted time is best in that situation, because it's very different for everything you do.
Yep.
But if you go for a little bit and it's still not, your feeling about it is not changing at all, then it's not.